how many viewers do we have? Just 300? Oh, okay.
10 to the 3?
Okay, well, yeah, thanks everyone for coming in person so far. Awesome. And thanks to everyone who is watching online. This is the launch event for Async.art. A lot of effort on a lot of people's parts, artists, people wearing shirts and stickers on their chests today. Yeah, so this is going to be not too long of a presentation, about 20 minutes, and we're just going to talk about the state of crypto art today, and basically for those who are watching who are relatively new to it, and then what differentiates our platform from what's currently how it's made. Okay, does it look okay on the screen? Okay, awesome. So, yeah, welcome. What is crypto art today? What is the state of it? How is it made? So crypto art today is, the process is when you take a digital piece of art or a digital scan of a physical piece of art and you upload that typically to a decentralized file sharing system. And predominantly the system used today is IPFS, Interplanetary File System. And at the same time, the artist mints a digital token on the Ethereum blockchain. And what this token is it's really just a contract, a piece of code that fulfills a standard. And the standard specifies that this contract has to have the notion of an owner, and this contract has to be able to transfer itself to a different owner. And optionally, you have to have an identifier. So you have to have a way for the token to specify what the name is, what the description, and what it looks like. So typically we have the identifier point back to the image that was uploaded to IPFS. Once you do this, the artist now has a self-contained digital token that has an owner, it can transfer itself between owners, and it has a link to the image that was uploaded to IPFS. And this is all minted from the artist's address. So it's verifiable that it came from the artists themselves. By fulfilling this standard of ERC 721 that we specified earlier, you're already immediately usable with any website that works with ERC 721. So for instance, OpenSea, which is kind of the eBay of digital tokens, it means the artist can immediately start buying and selling their digital tokens online through the blockchain. So that's the current state of crypto art today. This is a short timeline. This is not a comprehensive timeline, but just notable events in the crypto art space, things that we found interesting. So in 2015, this was before Ethereum was public, Bitcoin was around, a painting by the name of titled Torched Hearts was created, and this painting had 4.87 Bitcoin hidden within the painting. So basically there was a private key hidden in this painting, if you could figure it out. And this was one of the first instances where someone integrated crypto and art. It was in a physical form. And it went relatively unsolved for several years, and then finally in 2018 someone solved it. You can find the solution online, it's pretty complex. But yeah, so that was a success, 2018. 2018, 6/17, June, a company tokenized part of an Andy Warhol painting. And this was still a physical painting, but they tokenized fractional ownership. So basically people could buy a 1% ownership stake of an Andy Warhol painting. And this was a success. I don't recall the exact number, but they sold several $1 million worth of ownership. So people start to use Ethereum now with art, but still physical. On 2019, in January, a French street artist by the name of Pascal Boyard made a mural with hidden 0.26 Bitcoin hidden inside, and he painted this in France, somewhere in France. So again, just more instances of people integrating crypto and art, still physical. Last year, in 2019, there was the first art.co. So this was a case of a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, coming together to raise funds to commission digital crypto art made, and then they recoup the fund, the revenue from that back to the DAO members. And this is a case where all the art was on Ethereum, tokenized using the process that we went through earlier. And all the art was themed around Japan for the DevCon 5. DevCon 5 developer event. So in December 2019, the CryptoVoxels, a virtual world on the blockchain, one of the users there worked with Pascal Boyart to tokenize his street mural into little pieces and then put it into CryptoVoxels. So this is a case now of a physical art being tokenized and being digitalized and fractionalized ownership. On SuperRare, a crypto art platform, this was actually last December, they broke a record for a single piece, Girl, which was a collaboration between a physical artist by the name of Trevor Jones and a digital artist, a lot of money. They worked together to basically tokenize this physical painting into a digital painting, and they broke the record selling a single piece for 72 ETH. At the time was over about 10,000 USD. And in December, SuperRare, they posted they had a weekly trade record of $80,000 of money being flowing between collectors and artists in a single week. So they broke one of their records. And then shortly after that, Known Origin, another crypto art platform, posted they broke one of their records. One of their pieces sold for 11.78 ETH. But the interesting thing about this is that it was a multi-edition piece. So there was 10 editions to this one piece. So even though it's a lower number, it's 10 editions. So it's notable that it's one of the editions sold. So yeah, this is not comprehensive by any means. This is just of some events that we found interesting and we wanted to share. So that's the kind of the state of crypto art today. How's it made? Some of the events that are happening. And so what is async art? What makes our platform different? And what are we trying to do differently? So our platform, if we were to take a piece of art and tokenize it using the process we went through before, you would take a digital scan of this image, you would upload to IPFS, you would mint a digital token, and then point it back to the file, and you'd have your digital art. But what we've done with async art, so this screen shows you the traditional process. You have a tokenized version of the image on the blockchain. What we've done with async art is we break the image up into layers. So this Mona Lisa is now potentially comprised of 3 different layers. There's the face, the body, and the background. And so rather than tokenize the first image, we tokenize each individual layer. So now different owners can own each individual layer. The power of this platform, let's focus on one ability. Let's say the artist, in Da Vinci in this case, has made Mona Lisa and has said, okay, for each of these layers, I'm going to unlock the state change ability. So Da Vinci says each of these layers has a state change ability, and the artist provides 2 different states. So the artist may provide a crying state and a happy state for the Mona Lisa smile. And if you own that layer, you can control the state based on the states that were offered by Da Vinci. So when we're talking about programmable art, the owner can now change the layer at will, or they could decide to hook it up to world events. So the owner of that layer could be like, okay, well, now that I own this smiling Mona Lisa, and I can change it with a transaction, maybe I'm going to change this layer when the Ethereum price dips down. So maybe when the Ethereum price dips down below a certain percentage, I can change the state to be the crying Mona Lisa. Or when the Ethereum price goes up, I change her back to happy. For the person who owns the middle layer, the hands, maybe this person decides to, Da Vinci provided 2 different states, one where she's holding money, one where she's holding not, empty. So in this case, the owner of that layer could decide to change the layer based on who currently owns it. So that person could say, hey, whoever owns this token, this layer, if they have a lot of money, I'll show her showing the money in hand symbol. If the person who owns this layer doesn't have a lot of money, she'll be empty-handed. And lastly, for the third layer, the background, maybe whoever owns this layer can decide, hey, I want to change the state based on weather data. So if it's raining in my city, I'm going to show the rainy state of the background. If it's sunny, I'll show the sunny, I'll change the state to the sunny background. So basically all these layers are now controlled by whoever owns it, whether it's a collector or the artists themselves, but they can now determine which state they want using just a transaction. As they're doing this, these original layer tokens are not changing. What is changing is the master. So the master is always reflecting whatever the current states are for the layers. So basically every time the layer changes, the master will reflect this. So you can see the master changing, whenever the transaction goes through, maybe the master shows Mona Lisa crying now because Ethereum went down, but then it's also sunny, so there's a background. So basically this master is now changing based on whatever inputs are coming in, the owners are deciding. So this is just going back to the original, kind of the difference. Now we have the static piece of art on the left, and now our async art. It's a dynamic living piece that changes. So today's art that we have in the gallery around us, we have 6 pieces. After this presentation, everyone can walk around and look at them, and we've also posted them online. We have this First Supper piece. First Supper is a collaboration between 13 different crypto artists. You can see up here. It's 22 different layers, so there's 22 different tokens that can be owned and can control this piece. We have Untitled by Edward Puckett, Ronan Kill in the back. Banksta by Xcopy from London. Cunegonde Dilemma from A Lot of Money in France. And we also have Asynchronous Time by Blackbox.art from London. We also have, this is not currently shown, but we'll cycle it out with one of our frames, Bitcoin Makes the World Go Round. I'll show it on the screen here in a bit. Here it goes. Here's the First Supper collaboration. This is, as far as I know, the biggest crypto art collaboration in history. So yeah, this is a 22-layer piece. Each one of these characters and parts of the image are tokenized. Anyone could own potentially a character, like you could own this Twisted Vacancy character, the Hackatao, and each of these characters have unique abilities. This tape snake here can change colors. Yeah, oh, here we go. So here are some of the layers people can own and change. So we're going to do a demo here. So, okay, so Matt Kane, artist, has graciously donated his piece for the demo, one of his layers. So we're going to show you how it works. And yeah, so Matt Kane has let us use I Am the Table. And I Am the Table has 3 different states. It has After Da Vinci, Blue Diamonds, and Maggots. So let's go to Blue Diamonds. And I'm going to click Update. It initiates a transaction. The way that our platform works is, once you call update on a token, it broadcasts a transaction to the blockchain. And once the blockchain processes that transaction, it emits an event. An event that our rendering server is monitoring. So our server is monitoring the blockchain for, oh, this painting changed. Okay. When it detects that change, it re-renders the artwork. And so if you have a digital frame or a mobile app, like the digital frames we've shown up here, if you have a digital frame, it'll always pull the latest version of the artwork at any given time. So when people change the art, you always see the latest version. One thing I can mention is that our contract and rendering code is all completely open source. So anyone in the world can take our rendering server and run it themselves, so that even if someday the company is out of business, this art will still live on. So basically, if you buy a piece of art today and Async goes out of business, you can still change it on the blockchain, and the render code, you can run the rendering code, an artist can run the renderer, a collector, OpenSea could run a renderer. So basically, the art will always be able to be viewed and interacted with. At some point, that transaction that I submitted will be processed, and you can check the First Supper frame to see the new table state. We'll go into this one first. This is the Cunegonde Dilemma by A Lot of Money. So yeah, this is a 4-layer piece. You can either own the master, or you can own one of the layers. And the 4 layers that are here are the window, the walls, the expression, or the lapdog. And so again, just to reaffirm, if you own one of these layers, your layer doesn't change, but the master will always change based on what you currently own and set to. Here's Banksta by Xcopy. Banksta, this is the master. We can click into it. This is what it looks like currently. And so these are all the parts that have been tokenized and can be owned. So someone could own the head, And if you have the head is a state change. So there's multiple heads that you can change. Here is Untitled by Ronan Kill. This is a 3-layer image. This one's interesting because each of these layers have different controls of their state. So for instance, this floral background, you can change the state, but you can also change the color. You can change the hue or the RGB. So you can already see that although the layer token looks like this point, the owner has changed it. So the current state is, this is what the image currently looks like. Go back here. Asynchronous Time by Blackbox.art. This is a 3-layer piece. You can own the measuring timepiece, which is a state layer. You can own the time travel box, which has, going to here, time travel box has scale and rotation. So if you own this layer, you can basically make the box rotate and scale down and out of sight. Bitcoin makes the world go round. This is a 13-layer piece. So if we zoom in here, this is what it currently looks like. This piece has 13 layers, and they all rotate around. So for instance, hot topic number 1 has self-rotation and rotation around the city and scale. So if you own this layer, you can basically control where the current position is around the city and where it's also rotated. The Bitcoin logo here, this is a layer token with 3 abilities. You can rotate the city, you can change the state between 3 different Bitcoin logos, and you can scale it to be bigger and smaller. And let's see what else. I think, yeah, that's all the pieces we have so far. Any questions, comments, or anything live? Okay.
So this is a question. I hope you'll forgive, Colin. So if an artist builds something on your platform, can it be moved to another platform, or is it really only viewable, tradable, and modifiable on your platform?
Okay, so the question was, if an artist mints artwork on our platform, can it be transferred or viewed on other platforms? So currently the only way to view the art today is on 2 places, our website and OpenSea. OpenSea integration is coming in later on today and tomorrow, so there will be 2 places where you'll be able to view the current state of a piece of art. But that will change later this year. So we are planning to make digital frames. So digital frames would always show the current version of the art, and we are planning to have mobile apps. So there will be a mobile app for tablets and Android that allow you to view the art. Those will be the kind of the current places to view the art by the end of the year, hopefully. But because the render code is completely open source, anyone could build a viewer to basically point at one of these artworks and say, what does it look like? Okay.
And I would mention how the interoperability with it in general, it does work with OpenSea.
Yeah,
things like that.
Exactly. We work with OpenSea.
And the fact that it's open source will allow anyone to spin up these abilities regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all the code's open source, so anyone can basically build integrations or tools to work with the art. And if they want to, in fact, right now the only way to control the art is through the website. But because it's all on chain, anyone can build their own front end that lets you control your art. That you could build your own mobile app that lets you control your art. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we're just gonna have the gallery open for a bit, and they can just look at art and ask questions and bid.